ساتوی پسروینو داد شهیدانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور داد باتورانو کور ساتوی پسروینو داد شهیدانو کور
Good evening. Today is Sunday, the 1st of December 2024. I'm Suleiman Talash and you are watching RTA News. The Administrative Deputy of the Prime Minister Maulavi Abdul Salam Hanafi met with Uzbek Prime Minister Abdullah Rifov during his visit to Uzbekistan. In the meeting, which was also attended by a number of senior officials of the country, Deputy Prime Minister Maulavi Abdul Salam Hanafi and other countries expressed their country's interest in mining and transit of trade goods. Mr. Hanafi said that the implementation of Afghan Trans Mega Project will bring great benefits to all the countries involved, including Afghanistan. At the end of the meeting, the Deputy Prime Minister, while appreciating the welcome and talks of the Uzbek Prime Minister, said that trade between the two countries has flourished better than ever, which has led to mutual benefits and the expansion of relations between Afghanistan and Uzbekistan in various fields. The trade forum between Afghan and Turkish businessmen was held in Istanbul with the participation of Nuruddin Azizi, Minister of Industry and Commerce and Deputy Minister of Commerce and advisor to the President of Turkey. The meeting is said to focus on supporting the growth and increasing trade between the two countries. The importance of trade, solving transit and transportation problems are also discussed. Let's see more in this report. The Ministry of Industry and Commerce says that in the trade forum between Afghan and Turkish businessmen held in Istanbul with the participation of Nuruddin Azizi, Minister of Industry and Commerce of Afghanistan, Deputy Minister of Commerce and advisor to the President of Turkey, 70 Afghan and 60 Turkish companies in different sectors on supporting the growth and increase of trade between the two countries. The importance of trade, solving transit and transport problems were also discussed.
The speakers of the meeting spoke about the historical relations and the importance of trade between the two countries, solving transit and transportation problems, and expressed their readiness to cooperate with Afghanistan and other countries to activate the Lapis Lazuli route.
On the other hand, economic experts say that holding bilateral trade meetings can be effective in increasing trade relations in the political and economic sector.
The holding of such conferences, if continued, will also contribute to the development and improvement of political, cultural and social relations. It can also boost trade relations, and such Turkish investors can also encourage Afghan investors to invest in Afghanistan.
Meanwhile, Muhammad Ishaq Sahibzada, Deputy Minister of Railways of the Ministry of Public Works, met with a number of Afghan businessmen living in Turkey on the sidelines of the 34th regional meeting on the International Railway Union in Turkey and called for foreign and Afghan investors to invest in the country. Maulavi Ataullah Omari, Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Livestock, met with James Berth, founder of the Planting for Peace in Afghanistan Foundation and a number of officials of the foundation. In this meeting, Mr. Omari stressed on ensuring transparency in the implementation of development projects in the country, saying that foreign institutions should spend their funds in coordination with the ministry in Afghanistan to be more effective for farmers. Meanwhile, the founder of this foundation said that if the Islamic Emirate agrees, they will implement a $9 billion project to tackle climate change in Afghanistan. On the sidelines of the 34th regional countries of the International Union of Railways or UIC, Maulavi Muhammad Ishaq Sahibzada, Deputy Minister of Railways of the Ministry of Public Works, met with a number of workers, Afghan businessmen living in Turkey in the presence of Nuruddin Azizi, Minister of Industry and Commerce. In this meeting, Mr. Sahibzada spoke about the current situation in Afghanistan, saying that now the country has provided a suitable investment environment for national and international businessmen, and they can return to the country and invest with peace of mind. The National Procurement Commission of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan has approved more than 300 projects across Afghanistan. The deputy spokesman of the Islamic Emirate said that the projects, which worth 85 billion Afghanis, will be implemented in various infrastructure sectors.
The National Procurement Commission has approved contracts for 317 projects for the construction of the country, with a total value of 85 billion Afghanis. These projects include urban infrastructure, rural development, transportation, health, electricity, water management, agriculture, telecommunications, drinking water systems, and railway construction. The Commission has saved about 3 billion Afghans in the contracts, and special attention has been paid to the principles of transparency, speed, and economic costs of procurement projects. The implementation of these projects will provide employment for thousands of compatriots in addition to the balanced development in the capital Kabul and other provinces. Priority has been given to the use of domestic products, in the implementation of which is considered an important step for economic growth.
The Afghan embassy in Islamabad expressed concern over the recent statements by the Ministry of Interior Affairs and some other officials of this country regarding the increased restrictions on Afghan refugees under the pretext of the involvement of Afghan citizens in the recent protests in Pakistan. According to the embassy, Afghans are not involved in any kind of political activity. They have always lived peacefully and have contributed to the economic strength of Pakistan. The statement called on the Pakistan side to refrain from such statements that could lead to the persecution of Afghans there, faced displacement, and the expansion of the atmosphere of distrust between the two countries. The Embassy of the Islamic Emirate in Qatar announces of holding a literary and cultural ceremony with the participation of Afghans living in that country. According to the embassy, a large number of Afghans living in the country participated in the ceremony, who, while welcoming the achievements of the Islamic government, say that holding such programs is important for the development of Afghan culture, solidarity, and unity of people. Meanwhile, Dr. Muhammad Naeem, ambassador of the Islamic Emirate to Qatar, thanked the participants of the ceremony and awarded a number of Afghans who had read their articles and poems with certificates of appreciations. The Iranian ambassador in Kabul says that the country's new ambassador to Afghanistan, Ali Raza Baghdali, arrived in Kabul yesterday. According to the embassy, Mr. Baghdali has made strengthening political relations with Afghanistan a priority of his mission. The head of the National Environmental Protection Agency, in a press conference in Kabul, praised the presence of the Islamic Emirate delegation at the 29th World Climate Change Conference in Baku to understand the world's cooperation, and again called on the suspended projects in the fight against climate change in Afghanistan beneficial. The agency's leadership also called for a $300 billion financial commitment from developed countries to reduce greenhouse gases in affected countries. Let's see more in the report.
Maulawi Matiul Haq Khalez, head of the National Environmental Protection Agency, said the participation of the Islamic Emirate delegation in the International Conference on the Climate Change was beneficial for Afghanistan.
Our main focus was that everyone we met should have an Afghan delegation in all meetings, and their presence should be meaningful and not to be ignored by Afghanistan.
The officials of the agency add that, in addition to participating in this global meeting, the Islamic Emirate delegation also agreed on the implementation of fundamental projects in the fight against climate change in Afghanistan during separate meetings with representatives of developed countries.
Afghanistan has already reviewed its national specific partnership industry, which runs from 2021 to 2030. And the estimate made in this area is that Afghanistan needs $20.6 billion to combat climate change.
At the 29th UN Conference on the Protection of Environment in Baku, Developed countries pledged $300 billion annually to fight global change.
That's all for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا